Welcome, everyone. Today, we're shifting gears a little bit. We're not diving into data, but into, well, reality itself. We're going to share 3 true stories today, experiences that really make you rethink everyday situations. These are specifically for our collaboration with the channel Horror Docs.
That's right. And while these stories are definitely chilling, they also they offer some real insights into situational awareness, trusting your gut, and just how unpredictable things can get, even in familiar settings.
Okay, let's start with our first story. We're calling it The Unexpected Guests. Picture this.
Yeah.
You're 17, finishing high school. Your folks are out of town for the weekend. What do?
Hey. Seems obvious, doesn't it?
Right. An unsupervised party. So this kid, he went for it, got the solo cups, ping pong balls, the whole deal. He even paid his older brother, who was 21, to get a load of beer and liquor. Their house was kind of perfect for it, end of a cul-de-sac, backing onto this empty plot. Noise wasn't likely to be a big issue.
Setting the stage for chaos, basically.
Pretty much. His older brother invited about 10 friends, and the host himself basically told most of his grade it was happening. So yeah, at its peak, probably 60, maybe 70 kids crammed in there. It got difficult. Strangers started showing up.
That's when it gets out of hand.
Exactly. So he started locking the door behind people, trying to control who was coming in. Later on, maybe only 20 people left, his good friend Peter comes up to him, asks about the guy who went upstairs.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. The host was like, "What guy?" He tried to keep upstairs off limits, bedrooms and stuff. He runs up, checks every room. Dark, empty, nothing. Comes back down, tells Peter. But Peter's insistent, like, "No, man, I definitely saw someone go up there."
Persistent.
So they both go up again, check everywhere, under beds, closets, still nothing. The host just kind of figures, okay, Peter's had a few too many, maybe seeing things, not thinking clearly.
A reasonable assumption at a party, I suppose.
Right. So Peter ends up crashing on a couch downstairs with another friend, John. The host's older brother is already asleep upstairs in his own room. It's late now, maybe 2 a.m. The last few guests leave. The host is tired, but, feeling good about the party. He heads upstairs to brush his teeth.
The wind down.
Yeah. And as he's standing there, maybe a bit buzzed still, he thinks he hears something, like above him. He turns off his electric toothbrush, listens. Nothing. Rinses, goes into his room, about to collapse onto the bed, and then he hears it clearly. A thump right in the ceiling.
Okay, that's unsettling.
Definitely. He goes to his brother's door, knocks, bangs on it, no answer, nothing.
Dead asleep, maybe.
That's what he figured. But then the thought hits him. The attic. It took him that long to think of it. He grabs the hook thing, pulls down the attic stairs. He's actually never been up there before.
Into the unknown.
Totally. Yeah. Climbs up into the dark, fumbling for a light. Finds a string, pulls it. Just one dim bulb flickers on, lights up the middle bit near the entrance. The edges are still pitch black. But even with the bad light, he just feels something, a presence.
Got instinct kicking in.
Yeah. He calls out, kind of quiet, "Is anybody in here?"
Oh, man.
And then, bam, a box near one dark corner just falls over. And behind it, he sees someone crouched down, moving behind more boxes. And it's not a kid. Looks like an adult man.
Whoa.
And literally the same second, from another dark corner behind him, he hears this rustling sound, like a plastic bag. Someone else, a second person.
Oh, no. 2 of them.
His reaction was pure instinct, jumped off the stairs, slammed the attic door shut as hard as he could, and just bolted downstairs to wake up Peter and John. And that moment, processing that terror and then having to act.
Yeah.
That's a real test, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And what's really interesting here, the critical thing, is that Peter, the friend he'd early dismissed as maybe being too drunk, Peter's the one who immediately says, "Call the police right now." That's not just a second opinion. It shows the value of having someone else there, even if you think their judgment is impaired. When you're panicked, exhausted, adrenaline pumping like the host was, someone else, even Peter, can cut through that noise. It forces you to confront the reality you might be trying to dismiss.
That's a really good point. You might rationalize things away on your own. So yeah, she calls 911 immediately. Then he goes back upstairs with his 2 friends. They're all pounding on his brother's door again, still no answer. Now he's getting really worried, like did something happen to his brother?
Understandably.
Then they hear the sirens outside. Huge relief. Cops come in, officer and his partner. Where's the attic? He shows them, opens the door. They go up, lights in one hand, guns drawn. Standard procedure. They tell the host and his friends to wait downstairs in the living room.
Tense waiting.
You bet. But it wasn't even 2 minutes. The cops come back down with 2 men. They looked rough, unkempt, maybe 30s or 40s. And they just had this look about them the boys found really unsettling. dangerous. They actually glared at the kids as the cops led them past.
It's chilling.
Just then, his brother finally stumbles out of his room, looking sick. He says he slept through everything, all the knocking, the banging.
Us.
Which, I mean, maybe he did. Thankfully, since the brother was 21, he could act as the adult, deal with the police report. They managed to keep the whole thing from their parents. Talk about a rough night.
An understatement. Wow.
Okay, our second story. This one comes from a university student. Used to go to a lot of frat parties, like many students do. But one night, at this smaller frat house, kind of described as grimy and sketchy, really changed things for him.
Not the big popular frat then.
No, exactly. The kind where, girls getting free, guys pay $20 cover. He gets inside, lots of people. But the vibe felt off. More guys than girls, super hot inside.
Already sounds a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah. He sees a couple of guys heading towards the back room, decides to check it out. Walks through a door into a quieter part of the house, sees the same two guys go outside in the backyard. He figures, okay, maybe it's cooler out there, opens the back door, looks out, sees the two guys standing by a fire pit, nobody else back there. Mm-hmm. They look over when they hear the door, and before he can duck back inside, they wave him over. Mm-hmm. He felt awkward, pressured. Probably should have just gone back in, but he walked over.
That social pressure is real.
Totally. They tell him to sit on a log by the fire. He does. They sit on other logs, light up cigarettes, and then just silence.
Weird.
Really weird. Just sitting there smoking, staring sort of in his direction, but not really at him yet. Didn't say anything, didn't offer him a smoke, just silence.
Yeah.
Tries to break it, asks if they're in the frat.
Trying to normalize it.
Yeah. One guy just shakes his head and no. That's it. So he tries again, asks if they do anyone at the party. This time, yeah, nothing. Not even a head shake. They just look at each other, then look back at him.
Yeah.
And now they are looking right at him, just staring. And he starts feeling really uneasy.
That stare. It's a known tactic, actually, a dominance display. It's meant to unnerve you, establish control without physical contact. It plays on our expectation of, normal social interaction. When you don't get it, it creates discomfort, makes you vulnerable.
That makes sense. It felt like pressure building. Then one of them speaks. Really slow, monotone voice. He says, "That's a nice watch."
Oh, boy. Here we go.
The student looks down. It's a cheap watch, like a $30 Timex. Definitely not nice. But maybe to them it looked it. The same guy who spoke gets up, starts walking towards him, just says, "Give me your watch."
Direct demand.
At the exact same time, the other guy gets up and starts walking behind him, kind of flanking him. The student quickly takes off the watch, saying, "Yeah, sure, no problem, man." But as he gets it off, he stands up. Not to hand it over, but to get ready, to run.
Smart. Thinking ahead.
And then he hears it. From behind him, the distinct flick and swish sound. He immediately thinks, knife, like a switchblade opening. Guy behind it says, "Take off your shirt."
Okay, definite escalation. That's the critical point.
Yeah. It is. And this is where, as you said, quick thinking matters. He didn't wait. Didn't argue. The second he heard that sound and the command, he just bolted. Sprinting for the back door, he came through.
Absolutely the right call. Escape over compliance in that instant. He know if they'd chase, he just acted. That decisiveness probably saved him serious harm.
Yeah, he said it took maybe 3 seconds to reach the door. Doesn't know if they followed, how far. He just boosted back into the main party area, found his two friends, grabbed them, said, "We gotta go. Now, ask questions later."
Good friends for listening.
They did. People stared, because he obviously made a commotion, but they left. Campus was about a half-mile walk.
Yeah.
As they're walking back, he happens to turn around. Sees two figures walking towards them down the street. They stop walking. The figures step under a streetlight.
Don't tell me.
It was them, the two guys from the fire pit. He just yelled, "Run!" at his friends, and they took off. Ran the whole way back to campus, straight to their dorms.
Terrifying. They followed him.
Seems like it. He did report it to the frat president later. The president swore they weren't members, had no idea who they were. But still, the student never went back to that frat, obviously. And he said he really cut back on partying for a long time after that. Made him realize, the dangers that can just be lurking.
Hid him in plain sight, really.
Our last story tonight dives into the world of online dating apps. Tinder, specifically.
Yeah.
This person used it pretty often, looking for something to do on a boring weekend. So one Friday night, hanging with friends, Steve and Raj, he matches with someone. Her profile, pictures, bio seemed pretty cool.
The typical starting point.
Right. She messages him first. Says there's a party happening, he should pull up. He asks where, gets the details, town, time, address. She sends an address for a house in a town nearby.
It's convenient.
Very. He plugs it into his Maps app, only 10 minutes away. He asks for her number, she gives it. They text a bit. He tells her they're on their way. His friends, Steve and Raj, are game. Better than sitting around, right?
Right.
So they get ready, call an Uber.
Heading into the unknown based on a profile.
Exactly. They pull up. The house looks, well, small, kind of average for the area, maybe a bit run down. First thought is, okay, maybe just a small house party. He texts the girl, we're here. She replies, come in. As they walk up to the door, they can hear music blasting, which feels, normal for a party. The Uber drives away. They open the door, walk inside. And it's weird. The living room, the rooms they can see off it, they're lit up. Music's definitely loud. It seems like it's coming from somewhere else in the house. But the living room itself, completely empty. No one, except way over in the kitchen, there's one guy sitting in a chair. Maybe 20-something, kind of punky looking. Just sitting there.
Okay, red flag number 1, empty party.
Big time. He texts the girl again, we're inside. She texts back immediately, come downstairs. He's like, where is downstairs? Reply. The door, right in front of the front door. Now his friends, Steve and Raj, are whispering, laughing nervously like, dude, this is super sketchy. Maybe we should just bounce.
Smart friends. That feeling, that suspicion is building. The empty rooms, the lone guy, now being told to go downstairs through a random door right by the entrance. Those aren't just small oddities. Collectively, that's your brain screaming, warning.
Yeah.
It's crucial to listen to that, especially when you've gone from online to an unfamiliar physical place.
Yeah, hindsight, right. But he ignores them, opens the door she mentioned, right there in front of the entrance. And yeah, it leads down to a basement. There's this blue light filling the space below, and the music is definitely pounding down there. He starts walking down the stairs slowly. Raj follows him. But Steve hesitates at the top. He calls down, yo, let me know what's down there. Hard to hear over the music.
Steve's got the right idea.
He gets far enough down the stairs to actually see into the basement properly. And he's expecting, people dancing, a party. Instead, he sees a line of men leaning against the far wall. Just standing there, all looking straight up at the stairs. At them. Some wearing do-rags, one guy a backwards cap. He noticed many were minorities. They were positioned deliberately, kind of in a blind spot from the top of the stairs. And his only thought was, trap. This is some kind of trap.
Chilling realization.
Then all hell breaks loose upstairs. He looks up, sees Steve arguing, physically confronting the guy who's sitting in the kitchen. He shoves Raj, tells him, go up the stairs. As they scramble up towards Steve, the kitchen guy's trying to block them, hold them back. And then the kitchen guy starts screaming something down the basement stairs in Spanish. And the narrator sees 4 or 5 guys from that line against the wall running towards the stairs. He said it was the single most terrifying moment of his life. They just shoved past the one guy trying to block them, 3 against 1. Easy enough burst out the front door, maybe, he figures, with only a couple of seconds to spare before those guys reach the top.
Wow. That close.
Thankfully, all 3 were reasonably fit. They just ran as fast as they could, didn't look back, just got away from that house, ran full speed for minutes before they had to stop, gasping for breath. It was the narrator who called the police, told them dispatch needed to check out that address immediately.
Good. Did he ever find out what happened?
No, he never followed up, never found out what the police discovered or did. He wasn't really thinking that far ahead in the moment, just wanted the cops there. They just got another Uber back to his place, stayed there the rest of the night.
It really makes you reconsider meeting people online, doesn't it? Beyond just, avoid suspicious stuff. What is it about these online situations that makes us vulnerable? That's a really important question. Online interactions, they build this false sense of knowing someone, a false sense of security, maybe even intimacy. We see a profile, we project trustworthiness onto it, maybe ignore little inconsistencies because we want it to be real, we want the connection or the fun event. It's a form of confirmation bias, really.
Wanting it to be okay.
Exactly. And that desire can make us override our own caution, our own gut feelings, especially when it's framed as something desirable, like a party. The hope for that positive social outcome can make us rationalize away those red flags we talked about.
So, 3 stories. Ordinary invitations, a house party, a frat party, a Tinder meetup that spiraled into genuinely terrifying experiences. It's a stark reminder, isn't it? Danger isn't always obvious. It can be hidden right there in seemingly normal social settings.
It really can. And what ties these together, I think, is the need to actively use our own internal threat assessment. It's more than just trusting your gut. It's about analyzing why your gut feels off. Paying attention to those anomalies, like the empty party room or the silent men by the fire, observing the dynamics, and always having an exit strategy in mind, or at least being ready to create one instantly. The real lesson might be that safety comes from recognizing the abnormal quickly and acting on it, not trying to brush it off or normalize it.
That's a powerful takeaway. Definitely something to think about, especially today. If you found these stories as gripping, as unsettling as we did, please do like this story, share it, and make sure you subscribe to our channel, Horror Docs. We'll have more true tales there designed to keep you thinking and maybe looking over your shoulder. Until next time, please stay safe out there and stay curious.